Hello, my name is Harold Thompson, and I'm with Merit Life Ministries. But I wanted to come on this morning and talk to you just a little bit about discipline and what it is. I think discipline is so very important in our lives, and I think that a lot of people are experiencing high levels of failure because they are not disciplined. Discipline is something that we commit to doing, but we have to do it every single day so that we can become successful. It is not that we don't have talent. It's not that we are not gifted. Our biggest problem is that we do not have discipline. I believe that these great United States of America happen to be the most undisciplined country in the world. We say that because there are a lot of flexibility in our country, because our economy allows us to be flexible. I know people who have work jobs and they have flexible schedules. They can go in when they want to. Now, I personally don't like that. I don't think it's a great idea. I think a great idea is to get up and do the same thing over and over again each and every day. You know, you get discipline from doing a lot of different things, but the military is really strong on discipline. You don't have a choice to get up in the morning to do PT or do whatever else the military does. College, not so much. I remember when I was in college, even though I'm a morning person, I didn't want a 750 class. I wanted to use all that time to study, to do whatever I wanted to do before going to a 10 o'clock class. So that flexibility. So when you have a lot of flexibility, what it does, it takes away your greatness. Because the only way that you can become great is that you have to do repetitive acts over and over again until you master them. If you look at China, look at the Chinese. Right now, we buy the majority of the things that we enjoy in this country come from China. And the reason that this is so is because the Chinese have taken these very repetitive tasks and they do it over and over and over again. And they become skillful at doing these very simple tasks. Therefore, they can produce a product a lot less than we can. If we tried to produce some of the products that are made in China, it would take all this research, it would take all this training, it would be too costly to even try to do that here. But the Chinese people have gone from almost nowhere to become a world leader just because of discipline. See, I think that discipline is the only thing that stands between your success and failure. And I don't care how lengthy the discipline is. I remember when I first started going to the gym, I was working out with this group of about five guys. And they said, Harold, look, we're going to do this every day. Okay, we're going to do it 5 days a week. And we're going to meet here at 7 o'clock in the morning. Now, I had to drive about 10 minutes to get to the gym, which was not a big deal. And the guy said, Harold, will you commit to coming to the gym every single day? I said, yes, I will. I'll commit to doing that. I remember within the first couple of days, I went to the gym, but I never got out of my car. And I just turned around and I went right back home. And the next day I came to the gym. They said, Harold, where were you? I said, I came to the gym. I just didn't come inside. I remember going to the gym one morning and I sat in my car and I fell asleep and I was late for work. I did not go in the gym that day. Some days I would go into the gym and we had a regiment that we would probably work on 8 machines that day. Some days I would only do 2 machines and I would just go home. It's not because I was not disciplined. It's because I had to fine tune my discipline. The first thing you start with is like one of my buddies told me in the group is coming to the gym. He said, Harold, you may think that is weird that you drove to the gym, sat in your car, never made it through the doors. He said, I've done that several times. And he said, but I don't want you to stop doing it. I want you to keep coming every single day, whether you come inside or not. Because the first discipline you've already done is getting out of your house, getting into your car, driving over to the gym. So you have already accomplished 3 things already, just driving over to the gym. So when I thought of that, there was really not a whole lot of pressure on me to get to the gym. And as I came to the gym each and every day, I figured out, look, it is a waste of time, effort, energy, gasoline, and resources to drive to the gym, to sit in my car and do nothing. And what I forgot was what my friend told me. The discipline starts with getting out of bed, getting dressed, getting in your car, and driving over to the gym. See, the problems that we experience right now in this country has nothing to do with our politicians in the White House or Congress or whatever. They don't have anything to do with who's in the White House or the outhouse. Our problem is that this is not a very disciplined country. We have so much flexibility in everything that we do. And there's always an alternative to everything that we do. Do you know if you lived in some countries in the world and you showed up late for work, you would not work for that day? Because the group would be moved on. They're already working. So these people are used to discipline. I wanted to talk to you about discipline because we always have to get back to what we always talk about, and that is marriage. A lot of people are experiencing marital problems, and it's probably going to get worse with the holidays coming up. You're going to have tons of arguments because people are going to be in close quarters, unlike all the other days of the year, because you're going to have time off work. But we have these issues for the very same problem reason, and that is we lack discipline. Do you know that the one way to gain discipline is to master yourself? And what do I mean by that? Well, master your emotions, master your feelings, and just master everything about you because you need to be in control of you. If you let everything outside of you control you, you will never have discipline and you will never master yourself. Now, even the great Jesus himself walked this earth at one time, and his disciples called him master. Let me tell you, my friend, they never called him master because he mastered them. They called him master because he mastered himself. Jesus was always under control. He was always under control with his thoughts, his mind, his emotions, his feelings. He was always under control. And that is the one thing that we lack as people in this country, as people across the world, is that we're not in control. We let every little thing set us off because we're not disciplined enough to take the time to build a system that will allow us to become disciplined. And I wanted to say that, especially about marriage. The person that you are married to, you may feel that that person is not right for you. But have you looked at how disciplined you are in your marriage? Have you thought about working on being more disciplined, having more self control, having more self mastery of yourself? Because once you do that, you will look at that marriage in a totally different light. It is all about discipline. And you can start with the very small things in life. Start with something very simple. Don't jump out and say, I'm going to run 10 miles tomorrow if you're trying to lose weight or exercise or get in better shape. Don't do that. Don't say, I'm going to cut out all the sweets in my diet and I'll never eat another sweet again. Don't do that. You're not going to do it. So you need to start with something small and you need to have success with that. And as you have the success with it, you can continue to grow and then you can take on bigger challenges and become more in control and more self mastery. So I wanted to come on this morning and talk about discipline because I think that is a huge thing. And I think a lot of Americans, whether it's in their marriage or in their personal lives, they're not getting all that they should get out of this life. And believe me, life is very, very short. This thing is over. It seemed like just a few years ago, we were cutting down the net in a national championship game, and now I'm planning for my retirement. It seems like the time was 10 minutes in between those two events. So I'm saying to you, do it today. Just start with something very, very small. Go ahead and build a pattern to become disciplined. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day.